Hey everybody and welcome back. Today I am going to show y'all how I made my braided cowboy hat for the Cowboy Carter concert. Now, instead of doing all the braids myself, you gotta work smarter, not harder. So I got me some crochet braids and I got some 30-second glue. Now let me tell you something about this glue though. The glue do not be drying in 30 seconds. Like I really needed this glue to get its life together. I needed this glue to get its life together. It was just like it just seemed like it was never drying, and I don't know if it's because of the material of the cowboy hat or if it just was, I don't know, but whatever it was not making me happy. But the good news about the glue taking a while to dry is that anytime I made a mistake, I was able to just adjust. You know what I mean? So I was able to just move the braids around and make sure they were straight just simply because it didn't dry instantly. So that was the cool part. So as you see, I'm just going in and laying the glue as I go. Now, one thing I learned later down the line is I could have just spread glue all over the part that I wanted because it would have got a little more tacky and it would have helped me out for the braids to just stick more. But like I said, I was able to adjust them, so it's all good. So as you see, I cut it flat. I cut the braid flat and then I cut the next braid flat, like took the crochet portion of the braid off so that they can lay right next to each other. So that's the trick if you just kind of want like a little seamless action. You just cut them flat and do that. So the reason why I made this hat for the Cowboy Carter concert is simply because when it comes to like that concert, it was given, it's a rodeo show for real. And so I just was like, I don't want to look like everybody else. And I knew that I was, regardless of what I wore, because it just was, after a while, everything was starting to look costumey. And I'm like, what can I do that represents me as a hairstylist that would just make my outfit just a tiny bit different? So I came up with just doing this. What made me think of it is, for my magazine, I did a braided graduation cap for the HBCU issue. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a braided cowboy hat. And I think that'd be so dope. And it just came out so well. Now, in the beginning, I was like, this is pretty easy. Like, I was just trying to figure out how I was going to do it. I said, duh, get a cowboy hat and just cover it in braids. But this is the part where it got tricky. I tried so many different ways before I realized, like, maybe I should just follow this guideline. Because most cowboy hats, they have like all these indents and just the design at the top. And you feel like you could just lay braids on that, but you have to follow the way that it's going. So this is the best way I figured out to just do it like this and start the circle at the top and go inward. And that's how you're going to create those lines, because you need the lines to show definition. Now, did y'all go to the concert? Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. It wasn't as upbeat as Renaissance, but it was still incredible. I really love Cowboy Carter album. Some people don't. I talked to y'all about this before, that Renaissance wasn't my favorite. It was great. It was such a great body of work, but house music is not my thing. I probably got like 4 songs on there that are just like so good, and the rest of them I could either skip or I'll be like, But I do respect it as a great body of work. But I really love Cowboy Carter. And so this concert just made me so happy, especially to be able to show up with my hat on. So whoever's left, if this video resonates with you, or even if you don't have to wear this hat to that, you can wear this hat wherever you want to, because you got to dare to be different. I don't know if you saw my quote in the beginning. If you're blessed enough to be different, just stay that way. Don't ever change. It was that, between that and my mom always used to say, y'all laugh at me for being different and I laugh at y'all for being the same. So I started to write that too, but I was like, I might just mention it. So clearly I did. So you saw I just cut that braid and I just put that little piece of braid down in there so it wouldn't be no gaps and no openings, no spaces. And see that? created the definition, the lines, and just boom. Now, the next part is a little more detailed as well, but I'm going to show you how to do it just in case you're trying to go ahead with it. Now, because the glue took so long to dry, every couple of braids, I would just take the diffuser and dry it. I didn't take, because it's hair, I know it's already braided, but because it's hair, I didn't want to just use a nozzle and just blow it around. And also because the braids are kind of loose because the glue was damp, I didn't want to blow it around either. So I use a diffuser just so it can be more of a gentle approach with the air supply. Now here I'm just going to fill in this whole space with the glue. Also, let me just tell y'all, buy two of these. I only bought one, so I had to borrow a little one from my friend Devontae because I was at his shop while I did this. And baby, I was just shaking that bottle because it was the little one he gave me was almost empty. I was shaking my life away trying to get the rest of that glue out. So just do yourself a favor and get two jumbo sizes of the glue, okay? Now for this section, the trick is because it has to go like in a point, I take a lighter like back in the day. Remember back in the day when we used to get our braids and we used to burn the ends. Whoever is not old enough to remember that, we used to burn our ends, yes. And before that, we put foil on them, okay? So I would burn the ends and just create a point and then stick the point in there so it just basically disappears within the braid pattern. Okay, so and you could just tuck it a little bit if you want to, but just use a lighter and create a point and it'll go right into place instead of trying to make it, you know, squared off. And if it's squared off, it's not going to fit, and then it's going to start looking kind of jumbled together, and you want this hat to look as neat as possible. Also, if you can, use a metal rat tail comb because you could just use the metal because it's so much smaller and it can get in different places, and just press the ends of all the braids down, you know, wherever you need them to. That comb will really help you. So I'm just laying the next piece. I might have burned this one already. I did. Doing the same thing, just tucking it, making sure those points are right there, keeping the hat super neat. Y'all remember, y'all, who here is old enough to remember when we used to put foil on our ends? We used to have beads, and then we would put foil on the ends to keep the beads from falling off. Okay, and if you was in school or recess and one of those foils fell off, it would just be beads flying everywhere. I wonder who came up with the foil technique. That was kind of cool, and it was cute. You know, your ends of your beads just sparkle because you just had so silver foil, and then they started doing the rubber band, which was more concealed. So now you see we only have this one little space left, and so I'm doing the same thing again, taking a lighter and creating a point. Be careful with the lighter around glue. You know, because I don't know what's flammable and what's not, and I don't want y'all to be like, deep in hair told me to light my hair on fire. Baby, no. Just be very careful and aware of what you're doing, okay? So now that I have this to a point, as you can see on both sides, you see that, how it's pointed off? Just going lay it right up in this little section. It looks like it's designated exactly for this braid. Period. Look at that. Do not play with me. Okay. I did the other side off camera because y'all didn't need to see me do both sides the same exact way. And now I'm just going to do the brim. The brim is pretty simple. You're just going to lay it around and around and around until you can't anymore. Now, originally, I was like, what am I going to do for you know how it's usually like a strap around the hat with a buckle? I was thinking about putting a big turquoise barrette in the front. I just couldn't think of it. And then I just decided to put the leather strap that came on the hat back on. Because I even thought about doing like you know when you do a ponytail and you wrap that silky piece around the weft so it doesn't so it's not exposed. I thought about doing like a ribbon piece of hair and just something fly, but I was like, no, let's just keep it as cowboy as possible without doing too much. This hat is already just gangster as ever. So I decided to just put the leather strap back on and it came out really well. So again, diffusing. Also, the diffuser was helping the glue get tacky faster, you know, because it just helped me so much. I am now doing the edge. Now I didn't do the outer brim on camera. I don't know why, because I definitely wanted to talk about that, because when you're doing this, you also want to put, like, you're literally covering the whole hat. So even the edge of the brim needs to be covered with hair, because at the end of the day, it has to give the optical illusion that it's only hair. So, because at first I was like, should I show them how to make this hat? Because I just felt like it's so easy, but it's also so many tips and tricks that you're going to need to use while you do it. And so it seems like such an easy task, and it kind of takes the magic out of it when you show people. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm no gatekeeper, and I just feel like we got to work smart and not hard. Because could I have sat there and just braided a cornrow round and around and made a hat? Probably, but it wouldn't have been as cool as this. It would have been cool looking, and it sounds cooler in theory, but you might as well use a cowboy hat as a foundation. So depending on what size hat you want, you could just get whatever you want and just create and make it your own. Okay, so now I'm doing the underside of the brim, because people are going to see that, so you have to put braids under there too. And we're done. Look at her, she's so cute. I was so proud of myself. First I was like, this just looks like a weaved cowboy hat, but when I wore it, everybody knew that it was hair, so that's what made it super cool. So would you wear this to the Cowboy Carter concert? Because first of all, check me out. Do not play with me. I was so cute. You see my nails, changed my nails, and I was fly. I was so proud of my hat, and I'm going to wear it again. I don't care, concert or not. Thanks for watching, y'all, and I'll see you next time.